Just wanted to do a quick video on the past couple of weeks and the happenings in gold. This week was another really big week for gold and silver. Just some amazing stuff going on right now in the market. This is stuff that's going on right now is unprecedented, and you know something's going to give real soon here. We've seen what happened in Cyprus with deposits actually being stolen. There was a story this week that came out that was really interesting. It was the Dutch bank that defaulted on physical deliveries to their customers. Um, this stuff is sitting right in front of us here, and if we don't pay attention to it, it's going to just come smashing down on us. It already is. Basically, they said, we don't have your gold. ABN AMRO was holding gold for people. They're actually the largest Dutch bank. They were holding gold, and and they basically said, hey, we don't have your gold. We're going to give you a cash equivalent. Of course, I don't know when it was actually paid out, but I would be quite annoyed if it was, the day of like the thing getting knocked down $60. So these people who thought they had their physical gold, basically were told there's no gold. They don't have their gold. Uh, this scenario is going to go on all over the place because there's not enough gold to go around, and the gold's been sold multiple times. Uh, they don't have it. It's not there. There's been paper gold. The entire gold and silver market's been completely securitized. But eventually somebody says, I want my physical stuff, and that's starting to happen. I'm not in Europe right now, so I don't know, what's going on the ground. But I mean, you can't possibly have your money in the bank there. It's got to be in something physical that you've got control of. There's, the risks that are in the system right now. They're just unprecedented. I mean, you've got central banks, and monetary authorities just, outright saying they're going to take your money. It's it's completely absurd what they're doing, and I don't know if they're going to get away with this. I guess they will. Most people will do whatever thing is put on the table. They'll have to deal with it, but you're going to see massive riots, guaranteed. The United States, the people in the United States, they just really have no idea what's going on in front of them. They they think that this dollar is something special, and really, I mean, it is something special if you consider the fact that it's a reserve currency. But um, you know, printing and printing, inflation's going higher and higher. That money's worth less and less all the time. Purchasing power of the dollar has decreased so substantially now. I mean, and they're in full printing press mode right now. It's certainly not going to get any better, which is another reason why it was unbelievable that gold got knocked down again this week. It had a little recovery with the horrible jobs report that came out on Friday, which is another joke. The more and more the numbers went down, the unemployment rate, but more people have just said, screw it, I'm not looking for a job. So we're going to pat ourselves on the back again in the administration and congratulate ourselves for a lower unemployment rate. I mean, we've seen this leading up into the election. You had a snicker if you were watching it. But, another joke that, 500,000 people just said, I'm out. And this is simple numerator denominator mathematics here, and someone's going to celebrate that. Uh, you know, that's just bad stuff going on. The unemployment picture looks horrible. And another problem with the dollar is continued moving away from dollar as a reserve currency. Russia, Brazil, some of the BRIC nations there are signing agreements all over the place to move trade outside of dollar denominated trades, and we're way past the point that makes sense. And of course that makes sense. I mean, why should the U.S. be in charge of the money supply? I mean, if I'm Russia or I'm China, of course I don't want to be giving a country like the U.S. A piece of everything for doing nothing. I mean, it's the whole concept is ridiculous, and it's starting to continue to fall. Of course, the market powered up to new highs this week. Gold has been staying down. I have a feeling gold is going to launch pretty soon, but you just can't tell. I mean, there's no investing in these markets. With all this intervention, it's nearly impossible to make any kind of investment based on anything fundamental, because fundamentals just they don't matter right now. And some of you financial advisors out there may argue with me, but I mean, you can't possibly make the argument here to say that you're going to invest in something for fundamentals. I mean, anything could happen in the market right now with this amount of intervention going on. If you were a gold person, precious metals person, North Korea incident going on, I mean, and gold has still not launched like it should. There's no supply of gold out there. Central banks are buying it up like crazy, and they're going to drop something on us soon. All the central banks know that what direction this is going in. I mean, the Chinese could come out at any time and drop the bomb on us, calling for backing of gold with their currency, and then we're in some serious trouble. Then, what I don't get about gold is just the fact that all this money's getting printed. I mean, if I am some really rich billionaire, I mean, I'm just stocking up on all the gold I can get, and there's plenty of rich Chinese and Russians out there. There's a lot of money out there. I mean, they can easily buy the gold supply over multiple times in physical. So I think they're going to be, pushing the paper market around for a little while longer. But when you see the stuff going on in Europe, all this bad news, high unemployment, there's no prospects for growth at all. I mean, the system needs to implode. I mean, there really isn't any other way around it. People talk about some type of new currency. I really think that we are going to see a new currency coming around out there. The real question is going to be who's going to be in charge of that currency. And the Federal Reserve has proved that this type of system just does not work. And if there is some type of currency that gets used out there, some type of basket of currencies, it just can't be controlled by few people. And I think when people really realize the amount that they've been cheated, allowing some group of bankers to control the entire money supply, you look at it and it really makes no sense at all, and your average person is just getting cheated blind. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. In addition to all the other issues positive for gold, you've got Japan just came out this week also and announced massive printing. This thing is just going to continue to throw money out there throughout the world. I mean, all these central banks, it's a kind of a race to see who can print more. I kind of find that funny for the physical market because And with all the dollar reserves that are held in China and throughout the world, if we're going to be printing even more money, that money floating out there, you would think the entire physical supply is going to be wiped out. And the more paper dollars that are out there, the more physical supply that can get wiped out. So I see higher gold prices, but you got to have the physical, I think, because there's going to be a ton of volatility here. But with the ability of the Federal Reserve to do what they're doing, there's just too much floated out into the system, and the manipulation is just rampant, and it and the acknowledgement by our Attorney General and basically a non-existent SEC. The SEC is just a complete joke. I mean, these people have not enforced a darn thing for years, and they're criminals. That's what it really comes down to, because they're closing their eyes to all the wrongdoing that's out there. No one's being held responsible. We're throwing Goldman Sachs in charge of every bank out there, and we're seeing the results of it now. These people will go scooting off. I think Bernanke will try and probably say, this ain't gonna work out. I think he's probably gonna bow out here, because I wouldn't want to be in charge when this thing comes down. That's for sure. But I see him bowing out. They've switched out all these other positions. Treasury Secretary's out. The whole system just looks ugly. It looks really ugly, and next couple weeks should be interesting. I'm looking for gold to go higher. We'll see what happens.